Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to build the proper .app file necessary to run DOS Dude 1's macOS High Sierra Public Beta patcher to allow macOS High Sierra Public Beta to run on unsupported Macs. So the first thing you're going to need to do is navigate to beta.apple.com/sp/beta program. From here, you'll scroll down. If you don't already have an Apple ID, you're going to go ahead and sign up for one right here. It's completely free, only takes a minute. If you do have one, you're going to go where it says already a member and click sign in. From here, you'll log in with all of your proper account information. Now that we've logged in, you're going to see right here, it says guide for public betas. What you'll do is make sure macOS is selected first of all. You're going to scroll down and see here where it says enroll your Mac. Now, I will mention that you must do this on a Mac that is supported by High Sierra in order to properly get the files. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be your Mac. As long as you've got someone willing to let you borrow their machine, that'll be good enough. So, what you want to do is you'll really need to run a Time Machine backup if you already have a version of Mac OS on your computer you're going to be installing the High Sierra beta on, and if you care about any files that are on there. So we can kind of skip that for what we're looking to do. You want to go here and download the macOS Public Beta Access utility. It's only about 130 or so kilobytes, so that'll be quick. What we'll do is go into Downloads, run that DMG, or excuse me, open the DMG, let it verify and everything. Check the volumes and mount properly, and you'll see that shows up. Run the PKG file. It'll tell you if you haven't backed up that you're not backed up. Skip that, press continue. You read through the license agreement, all that fun stuff. Continue again, and then agree. Now, we are going to install a couple pieces of software on the internal hard drive or wherever you have your current version of macOS installed. This machine I'm running El Capitan on because, in my opinion, it's the most stable current release. Go ahead and install. Put in your password. Not a very secure password, but again, this is just a blank account I'm using to do this here. That'll let it run all its scripts. This shouldn't take too long. Meantime, you can go back and close out of all this. And what you'll want to do is we're going to move this to the side so we can see when that's done. Let's see. You'll want to go ahead, once that's done installing, you're going to click on this link, which is going to open it in the App Store. There we go. We can see that was installed successfully. Let's see. Click this link and open it up in the App Store. Open App Store. Alright, and now you'll see here we can go ahead and download the Mac OS installer. Now, the interesting thing here is it'll show that it's actually 4.9 gigs, but you'll see here in a moment that it's actually only going to download roughly 20 megabytes of data. Alright guys, so you might notice a few things look different here. I'm actually on my actual user account on this computer. For whatever reason, since I've already run the High Sierra beta installer on this computer, it's making me use the account that I first did it with. My guess is it installed certain files, specifically with Feedback Assistant and the other software that it installs to actually enroll the Mac directly into this user account, because I kept getting an error that it could not download the necessary installation files when I was in my account I was using to make this video. So, for you guys, this is going to be normal if you've never tried to run the High Sierra beta install on that computer, and now we're trying to use a different account. Anyways, so once you have that installed through the App Store, it should open up automatically. If not, go ahead and open it. It's under Applications. So this is where I was getting the error, excuse me, when I press continue. But at this point, I press continue here. It'll sit here for a minute. It's trying to get a couple of installation files from Apple's servers. So you do want to make sure you have an internet connection still, which actually realistically you'll need this entire time. So we're going to wait for this here. In the meantime, we can go ahead and prepare our flash drive. So I've got this one right here. It's actually a 32 gig. You just need at least an 8 gig. So this is actually already set up using the patcher. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to reuse that flash drive. So I'm going to actually wipe that out. Actually, we should be able to do that through the installer here. So here we're just going to go ahead. You can read through all the agreement and everything if you want. I'm going to go ahead and accept, agree, and then agree again. Now we're going to click Show All Disks because we definitely do not want to install over your existing machine. So we're going to have to use Disk Utility here. And there's a good chance this will happen with your flash drive as well. So just go to Utilities. And then we'll find here Disk Utility. Open that bad boy up. Close out Utilities now. Go back here. So I've got my verbatim drive here. It's a 32 gig. I don't care about any of these files. If you do, you're going to want to make sure you save that. In my case, I'm just going to go ahead and erase it. And I'm going to do OSX extended journal. Erase that. You also want to make sure if you have multiple volumes installed that you're erasing the proper one so you don't lose data. Big thing there. So it's just going to take a second to erase. Now you could also add a fancy title if you feel that you should, but personally I don't care enough, especially when I'm actually going to be just taking the files off the flash drive. And that's all you'll be doing as well. So now we can see we can use the untitled folder. We're going to go ahead and press install. So I just put in my administrator password, and now we're at this screen here. So it's actually going to be downloading and copying the proper files to the proper locations on the flash drive. That way it makes it bootable. You can actually go ahead and install High Sierra Beta when you reboot, if you so choose. Now, we're not going to be doing that. It just flipped over that we're ready to install, and it wants us to restart. This is exactly what you do not want to do. So what we're going to do is go here. You're going to press and hold click over the macOS High Sierra Beta icon in the in the dock, and you're going to go to quit. Now, if we click on the flash drive you used, you can see here there's macOS installed data. Now, this is where we need to do a couple of things. So, the first thing we're going to do is this install esd-dmg.pkg. So, we need to change something with this. What we need to do is go ahead and control click and go to rename. What we're going to do is we're actually going to change this from a PKG file back to a DMG. So you're just going to change it to install esd.dmg. Press enter. It's going to ask if you want to change it from a .pkg to a .dmg, and we're going to use .dmg. So now what we need to do is there's going to be a few files from here that we need to actually copy into the .app file. All you'll need to do to properly add the folders to the .app is go to Applications, control click on the High Sierra Beta, go to Show Package Contents, click on Contents, click on List View, and now you can add the proper folder and files. Alright, so if we take a look now, there's going to be a few files we need to copy over. So since we've already modified the install esd.dmg, that'll be good to go. First thing we want to do here is go and create a new folder and put in our admin username and password. And this is going to be called shared support. Both S's capitalized, no space. Alright, and then once we open this up, we're going to copy. It's going to be, so Apple Diagnostics.chunklist.dmg, basesystem.chunklist and .gmg, DMG, excuse me, install esd.dmg, and install info.plist. Copy all those and paste them over into shared support. This is going to take a few minutes since it is just a little bit over 5 gigabytes of data. But the biggest things you don't want to copy, the index.s product and the osx underscore 10 underscore 13 underscore incompatible app list package, because those files are not necessary and they could potentially cause some sort of conflict. I've never really tested with it, but I just find it easier to leave it alone, don't copy it, and make everybody's lives easier. So once this finishes copying, I'm going to come back. There's really only one step to make sure we've done this process correctly, and the other one thing I want to warn you about is if you want to reuse that OS High Sierra beta installer again, you have to actually delete this shared support folder from here. So what I'd recommend doing is making a copy of the entire .app file, putting that in another location, and then deleting this from the .app that's under applications. That way you can still use it for the patcher, but you can also use it to actually install the beta and get the files if you need to, or if you want to update to a newer version as they're released. Now that that's finished up, what we're going to do is go ahead and launch the macOS High Sierra patcher. And it's going to tell us it's a natively supported machine, which we know. I'm going to click on the icon and pull up the proper app. Click on it here. You can see now it shows 5.16 gigs, so that's all good. Press open. Awesome. Verified. Successfully verified the file. So at this point, you can proceed to actually create the installation media. I'm not going to for this process since I already have a copy of it. But if this has been at all helpful for you, please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, every little bit counts. And also, all props to Colin, aka DOSDude1, for creating this patch tool. Originally it was a Sierra patch tool, and then the High Sierra patch, now that it has been, High Sierra has been announced and the public beta has been released. So, a shout out to him, like I said, DOSDude1 here on YouTube. I'm going to have some videos on how to actually use the High Sierra patcher very soon here, but the biggest thing that I couldn't figure out at first was about this .app.